Gus here to review Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Fallen Order is an action-adventure game where players take on the role of Cal Kestis, a Jedi Padawan who has gone into hiding following the events of Star Wars Episode 3. It is available on PC, Xbox One and Series, PS4, and PS5. This review is coming to you in two parts. The first is information for parents, and the second is information for gamers. The violence and gore in this is actually fairly tame given the game's genre. The animals and a few of the bosses do get dismembered sometime, but it's never particularly gruesome. The rank and file enemies, like stormtroopers that you're going to face, they are never dismembered and they don't bleed at all, so this is going to be very violence-friendly for your household. Cal is healed in the game through medical stims, but there's nothing that you would associate with real-world drugs or alcohol. There is no romance or nudity in Fallen Order. I found no examples of any kind of strong or questionable language used in this game. Large portions of this game revolve around puzzle solving utilizing your force abilities and the way you move through the world. This is really cool and it provides a nice break from the combat and adds a little bit of value to the game for letting young kids play it. There are a lot of very prominent women in this game, and none of them are portrayed in a sexualized or demeaning fashion. In fact, several of the women are going to be your mentor, they play the primary antagonist, and people whose assistance that the main character needs. You don't have the option to play as a woman because you only get to play this preset character, but the way women are portrayed in this game, I actually found to be very positive. There are 4 difficulty settings for this game, and they cover a wide enough area that you could really allow any kid of any age to play this and they could get through the different challenges presented in this game. But there are harder difficulty levels that will provide more of a challenge for older gamers and people who are looking for something a little meatier to sink their teeth into. Towards the end of the game, there are some sort of emotionally intense moments, and they don't portray any kind of gruesome blood or gore, but you do have kind of a first-person perspective of somebody who is being tortured after being captured. So if this is something you're worried about frightening your children, probably not a great idea to let them play all the way through this game. The opening level of Fallen Order is a fantastic vertical slice that introduces players to a lot of the different mechanics that you're going to be exposed to. It doesn't give you the full depth of all of those individual mechanics because a lot of them are locked behind progression in the game, but what it does show you gives you a great idea of what you're in store for throughout the rest of the game. The combat in Fallen Order is fun and engaging all the way through. The pacing is really good. It never feels like you have more abilities than you can really wrap your head around. And the rate at which you gain new abilities really fits with the difficulty of the enemies that you're going to face. The parkour elements in this game are really fun. The way you move through the map is enjoyable without being overbearing. And as part of your progression, you unlock new force abilities and things that actually allow you to do the parkour a little bit differently. And when you combine that with the way the levels are designed, as you come back to certain areas in the game, you'll actually find that you have access to new areas and routes through those areas. And it just does a really good job of making the world feel very carefully thought out. Another really good thing about the level design is that there really aren't any dead ends in the world. If it looks like you're going off the beaten path, you might be. However, there's going to be some kind of secret or upgrade there that can help pull you in and engage in the world. And I thought that was cool. There's also a lot of puzzles that really break up the kind of march of combat that you have to go through. And these puzzles are really fun and engaging. They make use of your force abilities and really force you to, that's a terrible pun, I'm sorry about that, but they force you to think about how your force abilities can interact with the world and what it would allow you to do. And I just thought they were tremendously well done. Speaking of tremendously well done, the visuals in this game, from the very first moment till the final credits play, whether you're in a ship or on a planet, always absolutely incredible. This game is beautiful. The soundtrack for this game is basically exactly what you would expect for something set in the Star Wars world. Fantastic. John Williams laid the foundation of what great music for a world like this could sound like, and the people in charge of music for Fallen Order were very faithful to that vision, and it just sounds great. In addition to the soundtrack, the game audio, the noises the characters and the world make, are also incredibly well done. There's no real moments where it felt like the immersion was broken by sounds that didn't really fit. Everything just fits together incredibly well. Moving on to the story, honestly, you could take the plot of this and turn it into a movie that would fit beautifully well with Rogue Company and the Han Solo movie. It's also set at that same time, after the events of Episode 3, but before the events of Episode 4. And I just thought the story was incredibly well done. The voice acting is superb all the way through, and it's a Star Wars story. It feels very true to the formula laid down all the way at the beginning of this franchise with Episode 4. Another thing that the narrative does really well is it has this kind of unique mechanic where when you reach certain points of the game, you kind of flash back to the childhood of your character Cal and see moments of him training with his Jedi Master. And it uses that as sort of a tutorial to teach you some new major mechanic. That way you have a good way to learn it, and then you go forward and use it, and then it's just part of the rest of the game as you play through. Very well done. All in all, I have to say, this is probably the best Star Wars game since Knights of the Old Republic. And I thought Knights of the Old Republic was one of the best games of all time. It's a classic RPG for me. So, a tremendous entry in this franchise. I love, honestly, everything about this game. This game is very family friendly. I had no qualms about playing this in my living room while my kids ran around. There's no truly disturbing imagery. There's no intense blood or gore. There's no nudity or anything questionable in it at all. It's what you would expect of the Star Wars franchise. So in the end, Respawn, please make more of these. EA, please let them do their jobs. They did something tremendous here, and we need more of them. EA, don't make them screw this up. I've been Gus. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and hit the like button, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any more of my reviews.